Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I want to talk about Trey Amos and how he's balled out during training camp, and I think the Washington Commanders might have found themselves a star cornerback in Trey Amos, not just because of training camp, but we'll talk about it in today's video, a bunch of different reasons. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. All those things help out a ton. It helps out the algorithm, all that good stuff. Watch till the end too. That helps. But let's talk about Trey Amos. So did a video yesterday going over some standouts. He was one of them. You know, he's played well in training camp from what we've heard. Had an interception yesterday. I'll show you some clips from him in training camp as well so far. But you know, he's made big plays, but I think part of it has just been, you know, about how he carries himself, the or the swagger he has, the confidence he has that does matter in a cornerback. Like, you can't be a cornerback that doesn't have confidence and be it's very hard. It's very, very hard to be successful. Like, you could, like Emmanuel Forrest, for example, like he would say stuff like he's confident. It just didn't really seem at times that he was confident in himself. So again, not to pick, even though I am not trying to, just single him out. There's other corners as well that just don't have a lot of confidence and it doesn't work out. But Trey Amos seems like he has a lot of confidence. In this clip from Scott Abraham, you guys can check him out on Twitter. Basically, he was talking to him. I'm not going to play the clip, but he said, "I love guarding any receiver at any day. Just having that mindset where nobody catches the ball on you, and you have to be confident if you're a cornerback." And they drafted him in the second, was expected to go late one, goes late two. And, it was because of some, I believe it was a back injury, but I think the Commanders got a really good pick in Trey Amos. And he's learning behind Marshawn Lattimore, Jonathan Jones, even Mikey Sanders still, he can learn from him too. But here's some clips from him at practice. I'll go full screen for y'all so you can see. If you guys have been watching the highlights that I've been posting and some of the videos, you guys have seen it already. But if not, here's just some clips from him during training camp so far. So again, looks fluid and is working with some of the best, Marshawn Lattimore was one of the best cornerbacks in the league. And I think Marshawn Lattimore is going to be really good this year. I really do think so. And Jonathan Jones, been in the league for a while. It's a good guy to, learn behind. And I mean, I guess maybe not even behind. He might be, ahead of him. Trey Amos might be CB1. He might be CB1. Or not like the best cornerback on the team this year, but he might be a starter on the outside. Probably will be him. And then you got Lattimore, and then in the slot you got Mikey Sanders. But Amos has a chance to be the best cornerback, outside cornerback on this team this year. I'm not going to predict that to happen just because I think that Lattimore is going to have a good year. And when I'm saying, I think the Commanders found themselves a star cornerback, I know some of you guys are going to be like, oh, you're overreacting or whatever you guys want to say, clickbait. And I'm not saying this because of training camp. Like, partially yes, but these are things that I believe before training camp and just hearing things about him, even before the draft, happened. I was wanting, I wouldn't have been mad if they picked him like late first, or if they traded back from 29 to like 32 or 35. I would have really liked the pick. So I was always a Trey Amos fan, and then reading more about him, listening to him talk and others talk about him, that even raised my, expectations and my belief in him even more. So I think he's going to be a really good cornerback in this league. I think he's got that aura to him, that swagger. I think he has a chance to be one of the better cornerbacks in the league. Obviously, I can't get, even though I am getting too ahead of myself, it has to, he has to continue to do it during the rest of training camp, then the preseason, then week one, the rest of the season, and, years down the line. It's step by step, though. Step by step. And, this, Trey Amos, I think, has a chance to be their best rookie this year. Josh Connery, I'm excited about him too, but he is playing a new position at right tackle. He's played a lot of left tackle basically his whole career at Oregon. Might have played a couple snaps at right tackle. I don't know if he did, but if he did, it was like less than like 3 snaps. Played a little bit of guard early on, but he's learning a new position. Might take a little bit of time, but he's definitely going to start. I mean, it would be bad if he wasn't. But Trey Amos, likely going to start this year. If not starting, he's going to be like the next guy in the rotation. Had a pick yesterday against Jaden Daniels. It wasn't insane. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'll go ahead and play it. It was, Jaden throwing to Zach Ertz. Looked like there was some miscommunication. It was right to him. Some guys, you can't like fault him. You're saying like, I know some people are going to be like, oh, it's a wide open interception. It is what it is. Some cornerbacks don't catch that. So, it's not a huge positive, but he did make the catch. And there he's making the kneel down, not returning it. Smart play there by the rookie. But yeah, made a pick yesterday, and things like that stack up. He's been making some PBUs, and that's what he was known for in college, was making a lot of plays on the ball, whether that's an interception or a pass breakup. So Trey Amos is translating really well so far to the Commanders and to the NFL. So I do want to talk about how how they can use him this year and how he fits into their plan, and what him being like, if he is really good, what that can unlock for this Commanders defense. So if you do have him on the outside and then Lattimore on the other side and then Mikey Sanderstill in the slot, Mikey Sanderstill is going to be good. That's what I expect. Maybe because when he did play early on last year, he was in the slot. He wasn't playing too well, but he was a rookie. And when he went to the outside, again, it was a little shaky early on, but the last like 10, 12 games of the season, he was playing really good football. And then, add in the playoffs as well, was playing some good football. And, so we're assuming in the slot that's going to still translate. And he's been playing really well this offseason. And, in training camp, he's been probably, besides Ja'Cory Brooks, he's been the top standout. And he's been really playing well. PBUs, I think he had an interception yesterday off a tip pass by Quan Martin, and he was able to make that interception. But yeah, Mikey Sanderstill, I think, has a chance to be the best nickel, one of the best nickel cornerbacks in the league. And then you go into, Lattimore. If he's healthy, he is one of the better cornerbacks in the league. For how long, I don't know. But if he's, good this year, you can assume maybe a couple more years, maybe you extend him. And then Trey Amos, if he's good, then, that's, he's under contract for 4 years on a rookie deal, which, helps you out a lot. So that just makes it a lot better and helps out the D-line. The D-line doesn't have to, obviously you would like to have an elite D-line, but you don't have to, force as much pressure when your secondary is locking up the offense. And, but again, the Commanders, it would be nice if they had a Myles Garrett, if they had a prime Von Miller, but they're working on it. And next year, hopefully, whether it's in free agency and the draft, or maybe some guys that are on the team right now, they really step up more than we thought and start to ball out. But the D-line is definitely something that they got to work on. Here's a clip of Amos and Marshawn Lattimore. Here's Lattimore. Here's Amos. This was earlier on in the offseason, but Lattimore just looks way different. He looks way different than he looked in the last season, 2024 season. Once he got traded here, even the games he played well, he just didn't look himself. And that Bucks game, he 100% did not look himself. You could see how stiff he looked, with that hamstring. So full off season off, he looks like a different player. I would love to see a side-by-side video of what Lattimore looked like running in practice, or in a game last year versus this clip right now, or one clip from training camp, because he looks a lot better. And yeah, being able to lock down these receivers for long enough time, gives your D-line more time to get home. I mean, and get to the quarterback or force a incompletion. So Trey Amos can be the X factor of this defense. So can Lattimore, because we just don't know how he's going to play. If he plays like 2017, 2018, even 2 years ago, he was playing well. It's just the injuries. When he gets hurt, that's the biggest issue. And he's been getting hurt a lot recently. So that's why getting someone like Amos is really good, because, you add another outside corner in there. And, if Lattimore gets hurt, then you can have Amos on the outside, Sanderstill in the slot still, and then Jonathan Jones on the outside. Or if you want to, you can switch Sanderstill back to the outside and Jonathan Jones to the slot. So you have a lot more flexibility versus like last year, we had no depth. I mean, our depth was like in the beginning of the year, we had Forbes, Michael Davis, Benjamin St. Juste, Noah Igbenogany, who's like the only good depth piece. I know some people don't love him, but for the most part, Noah Igbenogany played pretty well last year. He's not necessarily a starter, but he was fine at starter. But he's much better as a backup, and you have him right now as the 5th cornerback, I believe. And last year he was like the 3rd, sometimes 2nd corner, which is crazy, like 2nd best corner. So they came a long way in one off season, to reshaping this cornerback room. And again, if Lattimore really balls out, then it goes to a whole nother level of how good this cornerback room can be. And I think a lot of teams, or not a lot of teams, a lot of fans and stuff and national media are sleeping on this cornerback room. I think it is a good cornerback room. It just depends on the health of these guys. So Trey Amos, expectations for him this year, starting the whole year, going up against, the number 2 receivers, Devonta Smith, whoever, against, on the other teams. Sometimes number 1. I mean, maybe they want Lattimore to shadow. At this point, I don't think that's what they're going to do, but you never know. And, get a few interceptions. I could see him getting a big interception in a big game, a touchdown, pick 6. Could see it, Cam Curl type of interception from 2020 when he had that interception against the Niners and we scored a touchdown. So, but yeah, that's it for today's video. Just want to talk about Amos and what he could do this year, and some of his strengths and weaknesses, which I guess I didn't really talk about his weaknesses. I think sometimes the tackling isn't the best, but that's not necessarily a cornerback strength in general. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.